Okay. Yay. Can you hear me? You
Yes.
feel good? Okay. Yay. Hey, so hello and welcome everyone to the third episode of the Well Projects A Girl Like Me Live. This is a new interactive live streaming series advancing health and wellness discussions and education among women living with and vulnerable to HIV. So every 2 weeks, I, Cece, will sit down with different co-hosts to chat about key topics in our community. In today's episode, I will talk with Gina Brown, which I'm so excited about COVID-19 vaccination. Um, so we're just gonna start with intros and we're gonna get into this because we only got an hour and I think this could go on forever.
Yes.
So I want you to first introduce yourself and any affiliations that you may have with, other organizations.
Yes. So good afternoon. I'm Gina Brown. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the community engagement manager at the Southern AIDS Coalition, and I am the chair of the Well Projects CAB. And I also serve attend the Well Projects WRI meeting, the Women's Research Initiative on HIV/AIDS. I'm a member of PWN. I'm a member of on the board of the Black AIDS Institute. So I do some things.
You do some things. And that's why we're so happy to have you here. I just love the relationship that you have with the Well Project and your transparency and all of that. I was just reading through your blog again this morning. I'll get those links out to everyone. But the one where you took us on your journey with this COVID-19 vaccination. And I remember the first time that I read that blog, it was like, wow, this black lady with locks over here, she done went out and did it. And it was like in a time that it was still I was very skeptical. And it was like, yo, okay, well, she could do it. Maybe I could consider it. Can you walk us through what that was like for you? And you did a lot of paralleling there with HIV and those clinical trials and all of that. Can you talk
Yes.
about that?
So last year when we first started hearing about coronavirus, I knew nothing about it. And I was one of the people who said, when they started saying warp speed last summer, I was like, I'm not taking that. I am not doing it. I don't care who say what. I am not doing it. I didn't understand the science behind it. I didn't understand that developing a vaccine doesn't happen overnight, that this is something they've been working on, right? But more than that, I started thinking about, all right, they have this vaccine. I know I don't want to get COVID. I know that for a fact. This vaccine is out here. What should I do? Then I was like, well, I don't know what's in a vaccine. And then I thought about, I was on the 076 study, to see if a woman took a certain medication, if it could keep her baby from contracting HIV. I didn't know what was in that medicine, but I did it because I wanted to give my daughter a chance, So I struggled with it, and I had 3 people on on Twitter that I truly trust. 2 of them I know personally, and one is the twin sister of one of the personal people I know. And they would always put stuff up about COVID, and I would just pay attention and read their stuff. And then I started asking questions. That's where it began for me, asking those questions, being able to not feel like I was stupid for asking them, and it was really, really enlightening, the answers I was getting, because I was thinking like, well, they black too. They black like me. They're going to be like, girl, don't do it. That's what you kind of want people to go in the direction you're kind of going in. And it wasn't like that at all. It was not like that at all. My biggest concern with the vaccine was, I'm a woman that's menopausal. And I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to get worse. It's bad enough. I don't need any more. Mm-hmm. And those were my questions.
Mm-hmm. And were they able to answer those questions so early on? So women going through menopause had already been included in the trial studies?
Yes.
So they thought about us?
And another thing that I found out, because I was thinking All right, I'm living with HIV. How do I know how the vaccine gonna interact with my HIV medicine, right? Because we know we always thinking about that. Um, and I asked the question, and they said, "Wait a minute, you don't think people living with HIV was part of the study?" And I was like, "Well, ain't nobody said it." I thought like, I know me. I would be telling y'all, "Hey, I'm a part of this research study to see if this vaccine work. If I grow an extra arm out my body, y'all know why." That kind of thing. I'll make a joke about it, but it would be real. And then I found out I know someone who lives in New York who's a part of the research study, and he's living with HIV, and he's open about being a part of the research study. So that made me feel a little more comfortable. And then when I realized, because I've always known this, even though it's not something we talk about often, but I know about an IRB, right? That review board that looks at all of the research, and it's a lot better now since I would say the 90s. I think the 90s was the last time we had anything researchy that kind of went bad. But ever since those IRBs, people who like me can sit at that table and look at that IRB and say, "Hey, this is not making sense," or "This makes sense," or "Can we do it this way?" Lay people have input in that process. So I felt a little more comfortable with that. And then I thought about my grandson. He had been at home a whole year. He'd missed a year of being with his friends. He was at that age where he was 9 when the quarantine started. He made 10 in August. And he was at that age where little boys learn their identity from other little boys, right? So they hang out with their friends and they start talking a certain way and moving a certain way. And I wanted him to experience that. And I knew that I had to give him a chance.
Oh, just the fact that you're bringing up, the kids. I have felt so bad, for my own son throughout this entire time. He's 10, and we have tried, different ways because, I'm typically very able to, go with the flow and how things are going. I thought that I was really good at working in chaotic environments until it came to things that I was used to having so much structure in, which was something like school.
Yeah.
Like ever since I was young, you get up every morning, Monday through Friday, you go to school, you look forward to the weekend, stuff like that. And all of a sudden, like all of it shut down. And at first I felt like, yes, we can use a break. I can do this from home and whatever. No, I was so wrong. I was like, whoa, this is hard. And I'm supposed to be your teacher. Like, I'm really good as a parent, but parenting and teaching and caretaking and all of that simultaneously was so hard. And, looking for a way out of that. It seemed like the vaccine brought with it some hope, but then I didn't think of the hesitancy that would have come, with that. And I'm leaving this pandemic, with a pandemic baby. And now I'm pregnant, and it's like, whoa, done added another layer onto, all of what already is going on. You're already, kind of, some of us, kind of a little worried about everything while you're pregnant. And then now, whoa, a vaccine. And I have to go into these hospitals where they've said at some point we're breeding grounds, for this virus and all of that. Like, it's so much going on. Yeah. So how were you able to compartmentalize and realize that, you needed a way out and that COVID vaccine was it? I read some of it in your blog again this morning, but you mentioned something about hugging.
Oh my goodness. So in this HIV work, I have 2 biological children, but I have 25 community children. So I have 27 kids. I had 28. I have 27 kids. And when I see them, I hug on them. I love on them. When I see y'all, I love hugs. I feel like hugs give me more T cells. And I tell people that. I tell people that I'm like, hugs give me more T cells. So I need another hug because I'm that person that loves warmth. I love to connect with people in that way, and COVID took that. I don't never have to shake another hand because I don't like shaking hands anyway. Because I don't know if men always wash their hands when they come from the bathroom. So I don't want to shake your hand, but I want a hug. I want a hug from my community. I want a hug from my family. I hadn't seen my mom in a year, and it was important that I see her. She's, getting up in age, and I was like, what if something happened to her while this is going on? So I was terrified of that. But I did. I missed hugging. I still miss hugging. I miss that feeling of feeling somebody's heartbeat on my heartbeat. I miss that.
Pressing so many buttons over here. Okay. The way you just worded that, like feeling somebody else's heartbeat, like, whoa. And I started, my mental health really struggled a lot through this, and it still is, feeling some remnants of it. But I'm a very personable person too. Like, I don't want to go around, just touching everybody, but being afraid of even being close to people. That was something that really messed with me. I'm a person, I like to go out and listen to music, and it just happens to be in the environment of a bar or a, club maybe sometimes, but just that whole environment and not being able to have access to that was driving me a little crazy at some point, worried if the person reaching over at me at the store,
Yeah.
like we talk about it. Like I might have been able to let it slide a little bit more, back in the day. That's what I mean.
Yes,
Back
yeah,
in the day. But today, like, why is you so close to me?
yeah,
Like, get away. And I'm not typically that type of person. But um even if they don't have their mask on in the store, I am to assume that they have been vaccinated against this virus. But I don't trust people like that. I just feel like I feel
that's
like people will say anything to get out of a situation that they don't really want to be in. So
right.
that too is very scary to me, seeing signs that are suggesting or recommending that masks be worn, but people not actually wearing them or not wearing them and not being vaccinated. Like, I just want people to see my belly and know that I'm going to continue to protect me and mine, what I got going on. Going into some places and I'm the only one with a mask on, it makes you look or I felt silly sometimes. Not that anyone had to say anything to me, but it just feels like, well, everybody else doesn't have one on. Shouldn't I just take mine off? No, absolutely not. I'm in the game of protecting myself these
That's
days.
right.
I
That's right.
didn't do that so much with HIV, but I've definitely learned that anything can happen to any one of us, and I believe them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I live in so in Louisiana we don't have counties, we have parishes. And I live in a parish that has one of the lowest rates of vaccinated people. Um, but I also live in a parish that has one of the highest rates of Trump supporters. So it goes hand in hand sometimes when the person tells you don't believe something, you tend to not believe it, right? The person you trust or believe in. So when I go in the store, I don't care what I think. And sometimes I have a hot flash with the mask on and be like, Lord, I want to just snatch it off, but I can't because I often think I may be uncomfortable, I may look silly, but I can breathe. I can breathe.
So you're still wearing your mask even though you've
I
been.
wear a mask, and yes, I do. When I go to Walmart or the grocery store, I wear a mask. If I go to the gas station, I wear a mask because I'm vaccinated. But there are different variants out there, right? That we don't even know about. We don't know enough about this to say it's over. There's something called the Delta variant that they say is really, makes people sick, and it's really like, you know, um, oh, Joe, I'm hugging you too. Um, and we don't know. We don't know. And I'm not taking any chances. And it's like, all right, how long? And I even asked my doctor, I was like, all right, how long is this vaccine gonna last in my body? Because you take a flu shot every year. So am I gonna have to do this again next year?
That's a
Let's
good
talk about this,
question.
you know.
What was the response to that from your provider?
And she said, I don't know. And at that point, I think the from the trial to my vaccine was like 6 months. And she was like, that's all we know. They only knew the data up until that point. So I guess they have more data now, but we don't know. But I will wear a mask. Yes, I'm gonna be just like the people in Hong Kong. 10 years from now, y'all gonna look up and say, wait a minute, she still got mask on. That's right.
It just seems to be like part of the things that I'm ordering on Amazon now because I really like the disposable ones.
Yeah.
So, wear it, throw it away. Just seems to be just part of the routine now. Just go ahead and make sure I always have them in my car, in my pocketbook, just accessible because we gonna wear these masks. Um, Heather she wrote a comment that says she saw a sign outside of a local church that read, Jesus is stronger than COVID. Yeah. So I definitely, for those that, have that spiritual walk, I understand it. But then I feel like on the other side too, that we also have to, still protect ourselves, make wise decisions, even though we're all right now because this literally could happen to anyone. My grandfather was 80 years old. He passed away on May 28th. Now I done kept him, and I can't take full responsibility, but I feel like I was doing a lot in my power to protect him from everything. Not making him go to the grocery store. And when they would bring him into the doctor or suggest that he have an appointment, I'm like, look, why can't we just make this a virtual appointment? Why are we unnecessarily making, this vulnerable population come out to the clinic and all of this? So I did a lot of work there. I felt like he was the safest while he was in his bedroom. He was fine, but he ended up having a stroke, and the stroke is what ended him up in the hospital. He went in, and 5 days later they called to let us know that he had tested positive for COVID. And that was my biggest fear, was like, oh my gosh, I don't want him to go in here and that be the last time that we see him. But that definitely, was it. That was the last time that we were able to see him alive. Because once you go in there sick, and I don't want to end up in that situation, you are there by yourself. Like, they're not letting no visitors up there. We did get lucky and got a nurse that would allow us to see him on FaceTime. But just picturing having to die alone, it put me, I wasn't around, during this time where I wasn't cognizant enough. But when I would see people with the hazmat suits on in those old pictures of people dying from complications of AIDS, and like how scared people were to go around and to touch them and to hug them and all of that. And it kind of put me back in the same mind today. And it's like, no, that's wrong. And to think if he would have gotten the vaccination, would that have made a difference in his life? I don't know.
Right.
Tammy, she says that she started enjoying the virtual appointments. I love going to the doctor virtually. Like, it saves my time so much. And I can do it from everywhere. And now they're like kind of trying to force us back into my therapy. They're trying to make us come back into the office. And I kind of like doing it from home. Were you going into the doctor during this whole thing?
I did. My doctor, as a matter of fact, my doctor retired in April, but she was one of the oldest doctors there. So she had office hours in the clinic, and nobody else would be there. Oh. So, and she only had a handful of patients she was still seeing. So I was one of the ones that was able to come in and just talk to her, and I remember when she told me she was retiring. She's been my doctor forever. And she said, I want you to know I'm retiring. And of course, I had my mask on and my eyes filled with water. And I wanted to hug her. I wanted to hug her so bad.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, and she looked at me and she said, I want to hug you too. Like she read my mind, and I was like,
Oh, oh, that's so sad.
yeah, yeah. This
What
thing
did
has
y'all
been
do?
crazy. I broke up with my girlfriend during COVID.
Oh God.
During COVID, because like you were saying about the depression and stuff, I found myself, I got really clingy. I was like, and I'm not a clingy person in a relationship. That's not me, you know. And it was bringing me places I didn't want to be, and I was like, all right, I gotta break up with her before I lose my mind. But we're best friends. We're best friends.
Okay.
And I think it was really good for both of us
Okay.
to walk some of this journey by ourselves, this COVID journey by ourselves. It taught us a lot, I think, about who we are as people. We talk about that a lot. And I know for me, it was so funny. I never liked to go anywhere before COVID. Girl, I want to go everywhere now. We went on a paddle boat. We went and played putt golf. I just want to go. I don't want to be inside now. You know.
I understand that. This has been like my breakout year. I feel like I'm taking and being more creative with the way that I'm getting out of this house. But I will not be in this house like I was made to be inside this house.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm one of those ones too where I wouldn't do too much, but now the fact that the nail shops couldn't even go get my nails done, so I had to
Yeah.
learn how to do my nails over this whole thing. Or Walmart. I can't wait for Walmart to open back up 24 hours. Like there's none. Everything has like an early closing time. Oh my gosh. And just how many things were affected by
Yeah.
this virus.
Yeah.
Um to the point where you Google something and it says that it's open and now you get there and it's closed. Like,
Yeah.
wow, this really is affecting
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
OMG. So I'm so grateful that that the vaccine is available so we can kind of try to take steps back to, I don't think it'll ever be back normal, but steps
Yeah.
closer to what we knew is that.
Yeah. I
Um,
think we have a new normal. I think we have a new normal. And I think it's going to impact our children, this new normal, in a way that because when we were kids, we were allowed to be kids. I can remember being a child. I'm a lot older than you, old enough to be your grandmother probably. But anyway, I remember being a kid in the 70s, and we would have that candy jewelry on, and your friend would say, "Can I have a piece?" And you'd be all sweaty and it'd be sticking to you, but you still peel it off and let them bite it, or let them bite the bracelet or whatever. And we were kids. Now we're teaching our children, wash your hands
mhm.
after everything. Not just using the bathroom, but after everything. If you go outside and you don't touch anything, when you come inside, you still need to wash your hands. Here, put this sanitizer in your book bag for those 2 days that you go to
No,
school,
that's
so
real.
that you can wash, clean your hands. And it's just like, I think it's taking something from our children that we won't ever be able to give them back, and that's
Absolutely.
the sad part.
I even Zion, it was a couple months ago, but we were outside, so I felt like it was okay for him to take his mask off. We weren't around anybody, but this boy would not go anywhere. Like he would not leave from me because he didn't have that mask on. And I'm like, no, it's okay. He just would not go. And I'm like, dang, like this has really been embedded in his brain, which I'm grateful for, that he knew the severity of the situation. But it's okay, baby. You can relax a little bit. Like
Right,
you can
right.
fall back. Portia has said a bunch of things. So I'm going to
Of
bring it
course,
to her.
you
She said,
said.
you know, the girlfriend Gina, what?
Girl, yes, yes, I thought you knew. You must have missed that blog.
And she referred to a an oral vaccine that the Lakers owners are going to drop that's supposed to last 10 years. Have you heard anything about that?
No, I haven't. I saw Portia's comment. I said I'm gonna look that up as soon as this is over. I'm gonna get my 10-year vaccine.
I think we're going to need something because eventually I feel like they're going to make it necessary for us to do a lot of different things. Like you're going to be required to be vaccinated to travel. And with the tickets being so cheap last year, I realized that I really do like getting on airplanes and stuff. So, I think that would be something that would definitely heavily sway my opinion on whether or not I'm going to get this thing done. Um, let's see. I wanted to see. Bose has said something really interesting. In Nigeria, they don't believe it's real, and most people don't wear face masks. There was a day I went to town and I was working towards a group of guys to ask for directions, and they just started making fun of me for wearing my face mask. Most of the time I go out, I find I'm the only one wearing my face mask. Yep. I kind of feel like that's where I am too, Bose. Especially like, the hood. There's no other way to refer to it because that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I'll go to like the corner store, and every corner store is already this big, and people are packed on top of each other, and nobody has a mask on, and I don't want to walk around, like I'm scared of everybody. It makes more sense to me now that we wear masks because you don't know what germs they have. Like,
That's right.
you don't know. It makes sense. Like, we should have been doing this. But now, since COVID has kind of made that a thought that's in the front of my mind, I want to keep my germs to myself. You keep yours to
Right.
yourself, and it's cool. It's no offense. I don't think I'm better than. I don't. No, look, I'm just protecting myself.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Another comment I just saw come up. Anywhere we go, or I know I probably pronounced it wrong. Sorry. Automatically reminds me to put on my mask. And Zephyr met me for the first time. Oh, when I was wearing a mask. So that's Heather's new baby.
Yes.
Wow. So I can't imagine that vision. The baby, he only sees you, or he was introduced with a mask on. It's such a different picture for those babies.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I wonder what birth is going to be like too. Like, I know that a lot has changed, and I had my first baby 10 years ago. So now this time around, like, who all is going to be allowed in the room? Because I was able to have my mom, my dad, my sister. They were all in the room with me. Now I know that I feel like I'm only going to be able to have one person because of COVID. Goodness gracious. Another
So,
comment.
Giotti had asked me, had put up a comment. I saw it, was asking, was I emotionally detached? Because I said I got clingy. I'm not emotionally detached. I think, and I hate to say this because it's going to sound so sexist, but I think like a man, even though I'm a woman. So I'm not that let's cuddle. I'm not that let's cuddle in the bed kind of person. I'm that, look, go over there and get on your side. I'm not a talker. I'm a talker, but I'm not I don't need to know your whole day, and I don't need to tell you my day. That kind of person. So when she started talking, I was sometimes like check out. I guess she knew that too. So it was different during COVID. Like I said, I became clingy. But yes, Joe, that's what I'm not emotionally detached. I'm just not as invested emotionally.
Mm-hmm. I can definitely understand that.
Yes, yes.
I was speaking to my therapist about, the feelings of loneliness during this time. And she had to remind me that that's kind of like a general theme for almost everyone during this time,
Yeah.
is that, like, that separation from everybody and what we may have known, you know. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow. And it kind of does make me feel better to know that I'm not the only one going through.
Right. Right.
But if we were to fully depend on social media to, paint the picture of what other people's lives were, seems like people aren't addressing these emotions and these feelings so much. It's kind of disheartening because I'm over here sad and depressed. Seems like everybody else is just, living these grand old lives.
Yeah.
And I have to remind myself that, social media is not a true reflection of what's going on all the time.
When
Is
COVID started, I had 3 cats.
3.
Now I have 10.
You got 10 cats. Where you get all them cats from, Gina?
So I am the cat lady. I collect cats in the neighborhood. I feed all of the cats. So all my money goes towards buying cat food. For real. This elderly gentleman at Walmart, when I check out, he always says, God is gonna bless you because you take care of the cat.
10 cats.
I buy so much cat food, but yes, that was, yes, 10 cats. 10, yes, 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 yes. And
Well,
I
have
don't know
you
what
been
to do
keeping?
now. I want to get rid of them. I won't kill them or nothing, but I just want them to go. And nobody will leave.
No, they with you. They
Yeah,
with you.
yeah,
But I noticed, just having that living life around you can be so helpful. It helped me. I got a dog, a puppy, which ended up being like another child that I had no
yeah,
idea that they were that
yeah,
much work. Look, I got all the pets and stuff because I didn't have another child. It was just me and Zion. So I said he needed these things. Now I done got the other child, and so now I'm stuck with the other child and the pets. But it's okay. We're going to figure this out. We are going to get this together. I done started growing plants and stuff inside the house. Apparently, I can do that. Um, we got the turtles and one cat. Okay, I can't do 10. I can't imagine 10. Let's see. There are a lot of comments coming up that I know that we missed because I'm still stuck on 3 to 10. Where did you find the other 7, Gina? Do they be outside?
yeah. They live outside,
Okay. But they know where to come for food and for some shelter.
and
That's
and what time to come. They know what time to come. Yep.
oh
They start
man.
arriving like in the afternoon, like at 3 o'clock. They start showing up because they don't eat until 5. So I have them on a schedule. They eat at 5 in the afternoon, and then I feed them at about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, but I think they eat at other houses too. They're not loyal to me. I'm loyal to them, but they're not loyal to me. Because I see them at other people's houses too. Yes, yes,
Your cat's cheating on you.
yes.
I just saw someone, they wrote a comment about their 24-year-old is about to get vaccinated, and she has a 14-year-old that wants to snatch this mask off as soon as possible. I get it. I get it. I get it. I felt myself in the store the other day, like, oh my God, I'm not having a hot flash, but it just felt like real claustrophobic or
Yeah.
something. Like, I don't
I
know,
can
like, oh my
barely
God, I can't
breathe.
breathe. I can't move.
Yeah,
Like, this thing got to come off. And then
yeah,
I look at the person next to me and they got it down to where their nose is out. So I'm like, why, why is it even on there? I get it. I get it. But it definitely has become a part of life. And, when we were having that conversation the other day, seeing for so many people that the vaccine did bring some, hope and relief. But for other people, it hasn't necessarily been the same case. Getting the vaccine has not relaxed some people's emotions or feelings of, being scared to come out or go
mhm,
outside and engage with others. And my hope, for them would be, that one day we're able to move past it, because I feel like we're going on like our second year of lost life, and we're not going to get this time back. It's definitely going to be something to talk about in the future. But
Yeah.
like Krista said, she'll be rolling her eyes at you.
And I'd be like, give me 6 feet. Stay over there. Stay over there.
Sorry, the ages of them kids was 4 and 14, not
Oh,
14 and
Chris is talking about
24.
because of my cats, all the cat food and stuff.
You be getting a big bag or
Oh
something?
yeah, I get the 25 and the 30-pound bag of food, and then they like wet too. So I put like dry, and then I put a couple of spoons. Yes, I use a spoon, couple of spoons of wet, and I mix it up because they love that. And then I put treats on top, and I take it out on a plate like a platter, and I serve my cats. Yes, I do.
They get treated real good.
Yeah,
Goodness gracious. My
yeah.
cat would love to be there.
But
This
there are people who are afraid of the vaccine. And I think, especially like in some of our communities, I'm from the hood too. And I know that a lot of people feel like, first of all, there was so much misinformation in the beginning, you know, and like I had to tell my son, stop getting your news from the shade room. Because just let's stop there. That's gonna be the first place we're gonna stop. But how many people in the hood actually listen to CNN or MSNBC? We know that there are some, but if you hanging on the corner, or if you in the corner store, if you doing whatever we do in the hood, you're normally gonna be having a conversation with somebody. So that's where we get our news and our information from. It's word of mouth. And if somebody is spreading the wrong information, Donald Trump did it for almost a whole year. And people latched on to those lies and that misinformation. And poor Dr. Fauci, I saw a few times, he looked like he wanted to just pass out on the stage with Trump. I was like, poor Dr. Fauci. But it was so much misinformation. So now we're wondering, why are people hesitant? People are not hesitant because they want to get COVID. They're hesitant because they don't understand. And until we have somebody trusted that's really telling us, not about let's hurry up and get everybody vaccinated so we can get everybody back to work. Not that, is let's get vaccinated for those who choose to, so that we can protect our neighbors and our friends, so that we can protect our children. But that's not the message we're getting. Another thing too, and I thought about this early on in the epidemic. I told somebody this and they looked at me like I was crazy. But I was like, we have the perfect opportunity to look at the economy. We have a perfect opportunity to say the government can do this. The government could have taken care of everybody for at least a year so that this thing could have gotten better. But they didn't want to do that. So they still had people going to Walmart. They still had people going to work at the grocery store or going to the meat packing places and the chicken farms and stuff. And people were dying. People were dying. And it was misinformation then, and it's misinformation now. And I think what I tell people, because I didn't write my blog to convince anybody to get vaccinated. I wrote my blog so that people could see my journey to me getting vaccinated. And if you are on any part of that journey, then you know that there's more to that journey than just where you're at. You can keep going. You can either say, you know what, I've talked to these people and I'm gonna get vaccinated, or I talked to these people and I'm not gonna do it. But the most important thing is having a conversation and making an informed decision. People ask me all the time because of PrEP. They said if they would have had PrEP in 94, would you have taken it? And I look at them and I say, well, they had condoms in 94. I didn't use them. So can we talk about that?
That's true. Oh, that's so true.
We have to meet people where they are, but we have to give people the tools so that they can make those decisions. It can't be that I want you to get vaccinated because I need you back at work.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about you getting vaccinated because I want you to be healthy. Mm-hmm. I want the people around you healthy. And even if you tell me, I don't think that's going to impact my health, then I'll be like, okay. It's your decision to make. But think about it like this, especially people who are on the fence. This is for the people who are on the fence about the vaccine. When we have children, we take them to the doctor, right? And they give them vaccines. And we sit there and it hurt us because our baby is crying. But we know that that vaccine is for their good. It's going to help them. You know that we know that measles can kill children. So we don't want our baby to get the measles or mumps or chickenpox or rubella or polio or any of the things that children used to get. So we get the vaccine for that, right? That's how I look at the COVID vaccine, the same way, like immunization. It is immunizing me against a virus that if I get it, it could kill me. I've been living with HIV 27 years and I've been undetectable since 2003. But none of us know what HIV does to the inside of our body. We might look good, feel good, and all of that, but what is really going on with my organs? So I don't need anything else coming on top of that and doing the funky chicken or the mashed potato on my heart. I don't need anything that's gonna impact my lungs. So that was why I made my decision. But I would just say people should talk to somebody they really, really trust. Find somebody whose voice you really value and have a conversation with them.
Well, that's great advice. That's great advice. So you can't get your news from the shade room? That's what you said?
Girl, don't get your news from the shade room. Don't do it. Don't do it. Shade room had me thinking I was gonna have a hot girl summer. It ain't happened yet. So, don't do it. Don't do it.
That is so funny because, in this new age of, or I don't even know if it's a new age anymore. We've been here for a while, but in this age of social media, it's so easy to just read a headline, and make a decision just off of the headline and not really research further, or to, just go with whatever they're giving you, which on so many occasions, like you could see like the bad side effects at the beginning
Yeah.
that they were displaying and not really, like the success rate. I don't even know if we had that information at the time, but you could see it was validating anything that I might have had negatively already going on in my mind. Like, oh, I don't want my face to be messed up, like this person's face because they decided to get the vaccine or something like that. But to
Mm-hmm.
have another perspective come, still doing well. And it's a few other, folks that I know that have
Yeah.
taken it. So it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe. And then just getting over the hump of considering whether or not it would happen, then now I have options of which vaccines I can take, like,
Yep.
and just getting out there and talking to other people, seeing how this one reacted with them and how this one reacted with you. Like, it definitely is a journey to get there, and I see why you took us on your experience, because it is a journey. I had to convince myself that, okay, maybe I won't die, if I take this joint. Maybe Gina didn't get 3 arms,
No.
maybe I'll have 2 arms after this too. And it definitely is a journey, and to see some of my family members who I would have thought would have never gotten vaccinated, that they went out and they made a decision on their own. Like, okay,
Yes.
I can, I can see this. I do like informed decisions. I feel like that, even when it comes to my HIV.
And we have to go back to the way we were before we were 6 years old. The first 5 years of our life, what was the one word we said more than anything? Why? Little children always want to know why. We have to say why. Why? What is my hesitation? Why am I hesitating? What is it that I need to know to make me feel better? And just asking questions of ourselves that we can ask of other people. I don't think it's gonna be like, for me. It wasn't the light came on and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. It was a process. It was a process. But I think about, and I thought about this too when I was getting as I was working through that process, right? So I was considered a leader in the HIV community. And I can't talk about wellness and health if I'm not really about wellness and health, you know. So I thought of all of those things. I thought that maybe I can maybe people will see me doing something and they'll just immediately or eventually think that, you know what? Like you just said, Gina didn't get 3 arms. You know, it was the shit. You don't want to know what the shade room is.
It's fantastic.
It's just that none but shade. There is gossip. Um, yeah,
It's big in the urban community.
yes,
It's not a reliable source of information, especially
at
when it comes
all,
to health
at
related
all.
topics. Or,
Yeah.
okay. I was seeing the comment of, we shouldn't be forced into doing something that we don't want to do. I'll stand on that firmly. And I think that was something that kind of relaxed me along the way, was to see. I did hear this on the news one day. I can't tell you which one it was, but to get that herd immunity, like not everybody had to be vaccinated. So I was like, okay, I can be one of those ones that's not vaccinated if y'all go ahead and do it. But then I forget what effect they call it, but like when you see an accident on the road and everyone just assumes that the next person is going to be the one to call the police. So then the police never get
Yep.
called. And I was like, dang, well, this is another decision to make, because if I'm expecting, for someone else to play their part so that I don't have to play mine, then
Mm-hmm.
it could not work out, and how I'm thinking it's going to work out. So it's definitely been in the forefront of my mind. I've heard, and I'm not sure how true it is, but that studies would be coming out in the fall time concerning women that are pregnant and
Mm-hmm.
that are interested in the virus. I mean, in the vaccine, because that has something has been something I'm really concerned about. Like,
Right.
it would be one thing if it were just my life that I were worried about at this time, but I got this baby in here, and we already got other things that are going on, and I don't want to. I'm just ready for it to be over. All of it, okay?
Yeah.
A healthy pregnancy, this virus, all of it. I just want it to end already.
Yes. I saw Bridget asked how do we feel about healthcare workers who refuse to get vaccinated, and I think that once again it's an individual personal thing, right? But at the same time, we know that you can't work in a hospital unless you get that TB skin test. You can't work in a hospital it unless you have. I think you have to have the hepatitis B vaccine. So it's certain things you have to do already to work there. So I think that if that was a hospital requirement, then But once again, I think that everything has to be done individually. I know people who are not getting a vaccine because their religion. Jehovah's Witnesses, they're not getting a vaccine. I'm like, okay, because it's about us educating people on the issue. The issue is not so much the vaccine, the issue is the virus. And the virus becomes an issue because, especially for Black and brown communities, we live so tightly together. you know so we should start looking at some of this, how COVID is a virus, right? And it was a health condition, but environmentally, that's what allowed COVID to take over and do what it did in our communities because of how we live. Think about people in rural areas. It wasn't as prevalent in the beginning because they're so far apart. If your neighbor 5 miles is better than 6 feet.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So if your neighbor is way down the road somewhere, then y'all coming in contact with each other kind of goes down. But in big cities and places where, think about New York, where everybody live on top of each other, not just Black and brown people, but everybody live on top of each other, and how COVID did in that city. I think now's the perfect time for us to think about the way we construct neighborhoods, the way that we build community. We have to look at all of that. And we have to look at if our government is not honest with us about something that could kill us, you know, then who do we have? And I think that's a lot of people's hesitation because of the lies that were told, because it wasn't. I can remember my friend was teasing me about this the other day. The last time I traveled was March 11th. I came from Atlanta, came home. I was on the phone with her in the airport, and this woman walked up with a mask on. And I said, "Oh, that sister got a mask on." I said, "I guess she's sick." They say you don't need a mask unless you're sick. And she's like, "Girl, you better wear a mask." I said, "I'm not wearing a mask unless I'm sick."
Mm-hmm.
And I went home that day, and the next day they started saying wear a mask. And I was like, I was just in the airport. What if I have it already? Can I smell? I'm smelling stuff. I'm tasting stuff. But yeah, I can laugh about some of this journey, but for the most part, it's been really painful. I thought about when we got to the 500,000 people who lost their lives, and I thought about neighborhoods, and I thought about cities, and I said, the city I live in right now, the parish, doesn't have 500,000 people. So that's this whole parish, everybody dead, everybody gone. I was like, wow, that would be devastating. And it wasn't as devastating as I thought it would be in this country. We talked about it for a minute and then we kind of just went on about our way.
Yeah. I remember watching the news because I was very heavy watching it at the beginning because I felt like that was the only place I could turn to. And to watch those trucks in New York, filled with dead bodies. And it's like,
Yeah.
yo, this is something, I don't want this.
Yeah.
So I felt like, even being the only one in my family living with HIV, was your lamb, the one that was going out to the store still, getting everything that everybody needed.
Yeah.
I'll be the one to go out there, and make sure that we have the things that we need because I don't need my elderly and disabled population of folks that I'm, responsible for to be getting sick and how scary that was. And, being a person that doesn't come from very much money, at that time, Uber and Lyft were offering such great bonuses because so many people weren't driving. So I
Mm-hmm.
took that as an opportunity to go out and to start making money. I'm like, whoa, I'm really willing to risk my life right now because of my financial situation to go out here and to be, going to restaurants to pick up people food and going to all these unknowns. But I'll wash my hands and I'll put my mask on. And that's exactly what I did. But like if I were born into a different social economic environment, would that have been any different? Would I have just taken my savings and decided to stay home, because I had that luxury to do so? It was, it's been so much that has been brought to light during this pandemic. It's crazy.
I
Somebody,
wanna, I wanna, I wanna want us to answer Portia's question.
okay.
You see it, the
Which,
last one.
mm-hmm.
All right, Portia, and I understand big pharma and the trauma because I think anyone living with HIV, we've all been traumatized by big pharma, right? But I still take their medicine. I still take the medicine. Even when I'm cussing them out, I'm throwing a pill in my mouth. You know, um, so we can be traumatized by big pharma, but we also have to be realistic about who we are and where we want to go, right? So I want to live long enough for that day when they say, "Here's that shot, it's all over." You know, and I know big pharma is going to be the one that's going to come up with that. I'll just say, as I've been saying, talk to somebody you trust about the vaccine. Don't not do it because of, and I'll say their names, Gilead, Merck, Vive, or Janssen. Don't not do it because of them. If you're not going to do it because of you, but because you've had all the tools you need to make that decision. You know, I think about one of our sisters who some of y'all may not have known, Miss Dolores Dockery, who passed away because of COVID. And it was just so real to me when she passed away. It just became so real. I was like, wow, you know, I stayed at this chick house. I know her, that kind of thing. So I would just say, Portia, just talk to somebody. And even if you decide that at the end, you're still not going to do it, that's fine. That's a decision you're making. But I would just say, talk to them, but don't not do it because of Big Pharma. Don't let them win.
Absolutely. I'm like, I take this HIV medicine every day so I could be
Yeah.
undetectable. So I can't really say I don't trust science. I've had this conversation with my own self. So I hear you too, Portia. Like,
Yes.
I hear you. Someone had asked about conferences. So we know like USCHA is coming up and everything. How do you feel about attending those spaces? Will you be there?
I've already registered. I got my hotel and my flight. Yes, I will be there. I will be there, and I will still. It won't be any hugging. I'll give air hugs, but I'll be able to see people. Um, if they bring their vaccination card, then I might hug them. Because I will have mine, if anybody want to see it, that kind of thing. But I'm excited about us being able to be back in space together. I don't know if y'all feel the way I do, but I get strength from y'all. I get strength from y'all. I love USCHA. Well, it was USCA the last time we went. But when I leave there, I'm so full and I know I can keep going. And when I come there, I'm so depleted and I just need y'all. So that's going to feel really, really good. I don't know if I'm doing Positively Living conference. That's in what, August? It's kind of like right next week sometime. I feel like, I don't know. But if I do, I'm going to drive to Florida.
I
Yeah,
couldn't imagine seeing you in person and not being able to hug. That
I
feels
know.
like it would kind of be like that doctor's experience you had. Like, oh my God, I want
I
to
want to hug you.
hug. Okay. Yeah, and I'm driving. I do feel like that is a safer alternative than, getting
Yeah,
on the airplane. Because the airplanes, they make you keep them masks on, but you still so cramped up and no windows are open and just, whoa, this is a lot going on mentally. Um, I won't be attending USCHA because of the
we
baby. I'll
know.
be No, I'm so sad about this. Like, I'm I'm very grateful, that I've been chosen for this experience, but I really, really missed everybody. 2020 was a difficult year. Just watching those dates pass by and conferences having to be canceled and all of that. Like, I need that, and I need that for my advocacy work. Once such
Yes.
a fire in me that I'm ready to go back to the community and share this information. And finding my way this last year has been quite a navigation, I'll say.
Yes.
Let's see. Heather says she's bringing her card so that she can get a hug. Okay.
And Joe said she heard of a flying, what a flying kiss, but not, but this air hug is taken out.
Someone asked, what is USCHA? So that's the U.S. Conference on HIV and AIDS. It's
Yeah,
awesome. It's an awesome, awesome conference.
yeah.
And
It feels
hopefully
more
we'll
like a
get to,
family reunion than a conference because
yes.
we all get together and we haven't seen each other in a while, and it's just like loving on each other and hearing about what the person's been up to is so. Oh, I just miss it. I miss it.
Well, y'all tell me how it is, or hopefully they make like a virtual component of it so that I can be there in spirit and stuff.
Yes,
Ugh,
yes.
I'm so sorry. But we've reached our hour. Doesn't seem like it's been an hour. I told you it could go forever. If nobody else has anything else to say or anything that will conclude our episode, and Thank you all for joining us for this third episode of the Well Projects, A Girl Like Me Live. Please join us again in 2 weeks as we discuss. I believe our next episode is You Equals You, and that'll be with Katie Willingham. Um, we look forward to seeing you then. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Gina.
Thank you, Cece. Thank you, Well Project. Thank you, sisters. And if any brothers out there, thank y'all too.
Bye, y'all.
All right, bye.